Greetings everyone, Brett here with Hammerhead Model Making. I'm back in the car. So today I am headed down to the Provo Municipal Airport, and I'm headed down here to go visit a group of gentlemen who are restoring a World War II vintage A26. They've called it high maintenance. And the reason why I'm going down here to visit them is because they have commissioned me to build a 1/48 scale replica of high maintenance. And in order to make it as accurate as possible, they are kindly giving me pretty much unlimited access to the airplane itself. And so right now I'm headed down there, and I'm going to be getting some pictures and measurements so that I can start work on the actual kit itself. The A26 high maintenance is a rather unique A26. It was converted post-war to do VIP transport. And so there were some structural changes made to the airframe to accommodate that. And so I'm going to need to reflect those changes in the model itself. Additionally, they have other features on the aircraft which make it rather difficult to I can't use one kit to make this. I actually have to basically kit bash from two different kits in order to accurately represent the aircraft, and which is fine. It'll be a good adventure, good experiment. So anyways, I will once I get there, I'm almost there, I will show you guys the hangar, let you meet the guys that are working on it, and show you the aircraft. I am in Provo, Utah, which is about 40 minutes south of where I live, and I'm here with Bob. And Bob is a member of a team restoring an A26 behind us. And Bob has invited me down to come check out his airplane because he wants me to build a model of it, specifically recreating their aircraft in 1/48 scale. So we've been talking for a couple months about how to best do it, because this aircraft is unique, and that's unique among unique A26s. And so we're going to be combining a couple of kits in order to recreate this as accurately as possible. And it's going to be a journey, but I think one that you guys will enjoy watching, because I'm going to be spending more time down here with Bob and his team, and hopefully give you guys an idea of all the incredible hard work that they do to bring this thing to basically resurrect this aircraft, because you're going for flight worthy.
Absolutely,
right?
Absolutely.
And so, Bob, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself and just kind of give us an idea of what you guys are doing here.
Sure. Well, the A26 behind us arrived in 2011 to our hangar on 5 flatbed trailers, and it was terrifying to be around because it had been sitting for 3 decades, just collecting dust and dirt. There was stuff falling from the ceilings that, as it turns out, it was walnut shells that they were using for blasting purposes.
Right.
We didn't know what it was. It would dump on your head, and who knows what
Didn't
that
know if it was bird poop or something.
So anyway, we have been getting a real education for the last decade. Our engines have been overhauled. The landing, basically what you see when it arrived, the fuselage was sitting over here at the side, and the 2 wings were up on their firewalls, standing there in all of their nastiness, and the fuselage was loaded with its own parts. And Jan and Dave, I wasn't here at the time, but they had parts for the airplane guts laying all over the hangar. Well, since then we've cleaned everything out. We've repainted. The whole fuselage was stripped, Brett will show you later on the cockpit. It was absolutely bare metal. There was no center console, seats, hydraulic systems, electrical systems. Even the cabin roof was missing. We've done a lot in cleaning and painting and doing our due diligence to make sure that this is a safe aircraft to fly. We're really hoping that maybe this fall we can get it outside and start the engines, and that will be a day.
So we're going to jump into the kits real fast, but I promise we'll come back to Bob and the A26 high maintenance. So we're going to be using two kits here. So we've got the B26K and the B26C. Now, oftentimes the A26 B26 name is used interchangeably. And the reason why we're using two kits is because there are a number of special, unique things about high maintenance that can only be found in the K model kit, such as specific engine components, wheel components, and mainly interior cockpit components. So the B26K has their cockpit all set up for the dual control. So it's got the larger instrument panel that runs the width of the aircraft, dual seats, all the works. All of the other early A26s only have the one seat. Some will have a jump seat, but not a full seat. But they only have the half instrument panels. And so we need the correct cockpit components from the K, and from the A26, from the B26C, we're using the fuselage, because the fuselage in the K is slightly different from the other earlier ones. And so we're going to be using the the earlier fuselage, the earlier style wings. However, from the K model, we're going to be using the blanked over turret areas, because the earlier A26s had an upper turret and a lower turret. However, if you've noticed in the images before, high maintenance does not have any turrets, and so we're using the blanked over parts from the K kit to better accurately represent it. We have some resin wheels here that accurately represent the brake styles that high maintenance has. However, we are going to have to use the nose wheel. We can't use the resin nose wheel because it has the wrong tread pattern, but fortunately the A26C has nose wheel with the correct diamond tread pattern that matches the actual high maintenance. So you can see that it's really going to be an amalgamation in order to accurately get this aircraft represented in scale. And you'll also notice there's a lot of exterior modifications to the aircraft in real life that we'll have to represent in scale, and we will have future episodes that will detail that out, because like we mentioned earlier in the video, this was originally converted for VIP transport, and that's the configuration that they're going to leave it in. So the pretty much everything from the cockpit aft is going to have passenger seats in there. So we're going to have to do a lot of modifications on the interior in order to represent that correctly. Anyways, let's get back to Bob and check in on how high maintenance is doing.
So the name of our airplane is High Maintenance. Dave Frank, who is the owner of the airplane, spent a lot of sleepless nights trying to decide what kind of name would be appropriate. Well, in World War II, there were a lot of girls on nose art, and the name came to him, and it's really appropriate because these planes aren't your 2016 GMC pickup that you just drive until it falls apart. You'll spend a dozen hours doing maintenance for every hour of flight on these airplanes. And so Dave's came up with this nose art, and I think it's going to be a winner out there in the fleet of A26s, of which there's only about 7-ish flyables. There's one coming back from Europe to be Oshkosh this next week.
Nice.
Looking forward to meet those guys. And Brent will walk around and show you the work that we've done. We're pretty proud of it. And that's about all I got to say. So this is what I was talking about. I think I talked to you about it. So you've got a tube that runs over and connects the two columns. Well, they're depicting it so that there's a cover here, a cover here, a cover here, and a cover over there. Well, guess what? There ain't no cover over there.
All right.
And you notice there's two different sizes here. This and that one are about the same, but Anyway,
And so this was all bare metal when you got it.
there was no roof on it. When the original intention was to do a really hard, precise annual on it, put it back together, and then take it flying. When it came to the cockpit, I got back here, and the only pulleys, there's 48 cables and 150 pulleys in the center section. You may have saw all the cables when you were taking pictures. The only 4 I could reasonably get at was by braille, reaching out behind the very back of this pedestal. 2 of those didn't turn. Jan spent 2 days cleaning solvent, soap and water, acetone, whatever he could get in there to get those little ball bearings running. But we reclaimed every pulley and every cable. But it was at that point we de-riveted the whole thing. Wow. There was no panel in here. There was a bundle of wires that was laid over here because we didn't want to remove them from the airplane.
Right.
But yeah.
All right. So Bob, we got our propellers here. So these are all refurbished.
Yep. What was
awesome.
really cool about the propellers is when the airplane was acquired, these propellers had everything done to them without the final assembly. So they came in boxes, pulled them out, and that's what they look like. Now
Oh, nice.
They've been assembled, and when they assembled them, they pressure tested them, and so what you see here is some remnant of that testing process. But otherwise, they're ready to install on the airplane. I just got to get the airplane up in the air high enough that I can put the wheels and tires on, and then we can put the propellers on.
Yeah, because there's not a lot of clearance there.
There's not a lot of clearance there.
So why don't you tell the folks here about what you were just telling me about the age of the aircraft?
Okay, so there was, I think the number's like 2,600 A-26s built for the war. Ours came out late 45. The war was essentially ending just prior, and I'd have to look at the dates and I can update you on that. But it came out, it was the 5th from the end of the line of the serial numbers built. The next 3, so ours, if you look at the tail, is 44, 34, 774. 75, 76, and 77 are all gone. Nobody knows. I'm sure they're scrapped. 778 is at a Canadian warplane museum with a fictitious Canadian paint scheme on it, but it'll never fly again. So there's an A-26 in Enid, Oklahoma called Lady Liberty. It's still in the bomber configuration. They have bomb bays, all of that stuff. They have the oldest flying A-26 airframe out there. Ours will be the youngest airframe flying, and I'm so looking forward to them. We have an annual air show called the Hill Air Force Base. This year was Warriors over the Wasatch, and I'm looking so forward to having both of our airplanes sitting side by side.
So that'll be in 2 years?
Yeah, well,
hopefully. Crossing our fingers. Well, but actually, I think that leads me on to what can people do to help with the restoration project of high maintenance here?
Well, I do have a YouTube channel. I'm always looking for subscribers to help out on my efforts. So far, since I've monetized, I've made $15.
Hey, there you go. Well, that's like what, a couple bolts for the airplane?
2.
Two. There you go.
So,
I'll put Bob's channel, his link and information down below. He does weekly.
Yeah, Sunday mornings at 6 a.m.
regular updates,
Mountain Time. Yeah.
Showing you what they're working on here, what they're doing, and it's always extremely interesting because he likes to get in the weeds, as it were, up close, so you guys can see really what, even if it's just little things. And so I highly recommend you check out his channel.
Please subscribe. I will warn you. I am no song and dance man. I'm pretty dry. So.
No, but it's still great content. And then volunteer stuff or anything like that? Not right now.
We always can use volunteers. Obviously, we're dealing with A piece of history, B, a flying machine, If you've got experience, we're more than willing to vet you and make sure that you can turn a wrench or twist a screwdriver. So
yeah, so I'll leave Bob's contact info down below, and so if you happen to be in the Salt Lake, Provo area and you have experience, we can get you connected, because they can use all of the help and assistance and that they can get, because we want to make sure this thing gets flying. So thank you, Bob, for the time here. We'll do a left-handed shake here.
Okay.
And we'll have more videos coming down the road as we start working on the kits and kind of showing you the progress. So we're signing off. Take care, everyone.
Thanks.